Grow your cleaning business. Make more money. Have more time. This is the Profit Cleaners Podcast with your hosts, Brandon Condry and Brandon Shane.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Profit Cleaners. You are in the place to be learning from the top 1% of cleaning business owners from around the world to next level your game, take it up to the next level and win. We're so excited for you guys being here. Thank you for your time today. I am your host, Brandon Shane, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Brandon Condry.
And we are the Profit Cleaners in the house. And, well, actually, let's just start out the show doing a little housekeeping, Brandon. Let's tell them, if you haven't already joined the tribe of Profit Cleaners around the world, listening to the show, sharing out the show, pay the price of admission, share the show out, guys. If you're getting value from these shows, if you're getting a change of perspective, some inspiration, maybe you laugh, think a little bit, share it out. Help us out, guys. We're doing this show for free. We're not running your ears with a bunch of ads, so help us out. On this episode, guys, we want to dive into something really cool that we've been actually experiencing ourselves, Brandon and I, and been getting a lot of stuff done lately, and we want to share. The title of this show is How to Get into the Flow State So You Can Operate at the Speed of Excellence. So Let's dive into it, Brandon. How do we do that? That sounds freaking amazing. I want to do that.
Yeah, so if you don't know, the flow state is this kind of like focused, state of mind that you can get into, like really accomplish a bunch of work in a short period of time. And typically you want to be spending that time on something that's very, very important. Like you don't want to be using the flow state to play video games or clean your kitchen. Like you want to use it for something bigger than that. I remember this being mentioned in a bunch of books that I had read, like before I met you. Tim Ferriss talks about it pretty often. It's a lot of things that sort of high-performing entrepreneurs talk about. And it's something that I have struggled with for a long time. Like it's really hard to turn it on and turn it off. And so I had a breakthrough recently that I think is kind of important, so I wanted to share that with everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And I it's funny that you say that, man, because I feel like I've been having a similar breakthrough, maybe not exactly like you, but I've just been getting into these states lately where I'm doing work, but I'm feeling like hyper productive, and it's just amazing like how much I'm getting done. And I'm gonna reverse engineer that. We're gonna kind of break it down for you guys in the call, but we think that is, and I think in a nutshell is essentially what we're doing is being more productive, making more progress by eliminating something and creating a structure in our life that allows us to operate at a higher speed and a higher efficiency. And so that's what we're going to get into.
Yeah, you're getting more done in the same amount of time. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I've told you guys before that there's a local business peer leadership group that I'm part of, and we did a retreat recently in Durango, Colorado. So the whole group went up there and stayed together in this big house for a couple days. And one of the things that our facilitator covered was this concept called the 5 gears. And so the idea is that you should be able to, you need all these gears, and ideally you're doing all of them every day. So the first gear is recharge, and that's, taking a break, going to exercise, like whatever makes you feel refreshed. The second gear was like connection, so that's one-on-one with your employees, with your spouse. Like it's a deep connection where you're focused on one person. The third gear was social, so you're going to go out with your employees after work for happy hour. You're not talking work, you're just sitting around. And then the fourth gear is like tasks, so doing stuff. And this is the one that I typically get stuck in. So I'm doing stuff to do stuff. So I'm cleaning my desk, I'm writing emails, I'm researching things, I'm looking at stuff. And that's good. Those things have to happen to run a business. Like you have to do certain tasks in a certain order, like payroll and things like that. But the one that was most important for me was fifth gear, and that was for like deep focus work. And so during this exercise in Durango, I had said that, look, I really struggle with getting into fifth gear. And this one sentence, often it's just like one little sentence will trigger it. You know what I mean? Like she said, well, to do that, you have to know the recipe. So you have to know the recipe to get to fifth gear. And she gave an example of like baking cookies. Like, that you have these basic ingredients, but you have to do them in the right order to like pull it off.
Man, that is awesome. So did you get the recipe, or like what?
I did. So like she said, I was like, well, what's the recipe? She's like, well, that depends on you. Like you have to come up with the recipe is for you. So I really made a concentrated effort to do it. And I am going to share with you my specific recipe on how I do this.
Cool.
and you can create it for your own. But I do want to share you a very similar, it's like a corollary from college. When I was in college, I was a pretty hardcore insomniac. I remember a stretch where I stayed up for 63 hours straight during a finals week cramming for this cell biology final exam. And I took the test, thought I did amazing. 20 Red Bulls later, I'm super prepped for this test. Crushed it, went home and slept for like 30 hours. And then I emailed my professor, like, hey, professor, how'd that final go? I think I did pretty good. He's like, ooh, sorry to break it to you. You actually got a 41 out of 100. Like, oh, damn it. So I went straight to the student health center, told the doctor that what happened with my test and I can't sleep. And she also said something very similar, but I haven't thought about it in years. She said that, you need to get your body ready to go to sleep. And so you need a nightly routine. So you got to do the same set of things in the same order, and that will start triggering your brain that sleep is coming. It's time to go to sleep soon. So, make a glass of warm milk, change into your pajamas, read a book, like whatever it is, just do the same stuff in the same order, and then you'll be ready for sleep. So that was the recipe for sleep.
Nice, dude. That kind of reminds me of something I've heard lately that was all about like creating that structure in your environment. Like if you don't have like success is 50% mental, the other 50% is your environment. So the environment that surrounds you has a huge impact on the results you get, on the productivity that you have. So if you want, like, you can get more mental toughness, you can create more discipline in your life, but if you want to actually put that on steroids, you put a structure around it, and put that recipe you're talking about is that structure that kind of ties it all together. And then, man, that's a game changer.
Yeah. So here's the recipe. Here's what I did, and this is what works for me. So I usually get distracted by websites and social media and things like that. So here's what I do. So on my computer, I'm going to queue up what I want to work on for the deep focus. So whatever the flow state is I'm trying to get into, I'm going to load up a website that I need to look at, a spreadsheet where I need to do a thing, whatever it is that I'm hoping to accomplish that day. So I'm going to queue that up on my screen. Got that going. Next, I'm going to try and eliminate distractions. That's what you were talking about before. So I'm trying to cut off the distractions before they even get there to the point. So what I did was I actually there's 3 things you really need to cover. You need to cover your phone, your computer, and then like your physical environment around you, like wherever you're at. So for the physical environment, I bought an LED sign that says do not disturb. It's got a remote control that I can turn on or off. So I close the doors to my office, I turn on that sign. I've told the office staff downstairs that they're welcome to come up and like make coffee or something, but if that sign's on and my door's closed, like don't knock on it, don't interrupt me, like whatever it is can wait a little bit. My phone and my computer, I found this app which I have tried various versions of over the years, but this one's called Freedom, and this is the one that actually works. So you make a list of apps and websites that you don't want to be able to use. You have to know yourself a little bit. Like, I'm going to go to chess.com, and I'm going to go to Reddit, and I'm going to distract myself that way. So you plug in all those apps and websites, and then you start a session. It's called a Freedom session. So mine are 90 minutes long. So start a session, then it automatically shuts down that stuff on your computer. And if you do manage to get distracted, you force a habit, you pull up a new tab and you try to open a website. It just flashes up this great big green thing that says, you are free to do what you're supposed to do. So that lets you know. So it's blocked my computer and my phone. And then I do have a smartwatch like a lot of people do, I think. And I put that to sleep. So I put that in sleep mode so I can't see what time it is. I don't see notifications. Then I do a meditation session. Right now I'm using Calm, but I've previously used Headspace, so I do a focused meditation session, which is about 15 minutes long. And then as soon as I open my eyes from that focus session, all that stuff that I queued up before I started is on my computer, ready to go. And then I know, like, right, I was going to do this, that, and the other thing. It's queued up all next to each other. And then you just go. You do a sprint. So for me, what works for me is just 90 minutes. I'm going to do a 90-minute block, bang it out. Afterwards, I'm done. I'm done with deep focus. I'm going to take a break and get some coffee or go get lunch or whatever.
Man, that is super cool. Just while you were talking about that, it totally reminded me of a story I heard recently. There's a book called Atomic Habits. I haven't read all of it. I'm still reading through it, but it is an amazing book. Atomic Habits by a guy named James Clear. And he talks about this, how he tried to write this book for like, I don't know how many years it took him, like 3 to 5 years just to write this one book. And when he actually finished it, it went like, New York Times bestseller with millions of copies sold. Made a ton of money from it. But the way that he actually got this book done was exactly what you're saying, Brandon. He actually gave his office staff all of his social media passwords, and he's like, I'm going to give these to you. You have to change them so I can't log into my accounts. And and at the end of the week, you can give them back to me, and I'll log in on the weekends and, you know, have my free time and stuff. But he did that, and as soon as he did that, which is doing what you're talking about, eliminating distractions, creating this environment where you eliminate a thing or a person or whatever it is that's robbing you of your focus, and then you become hyper productive, hyper in the flow state, and making all sorts of progress. And that's actually how he like created that book. And he's like, that's the only reason I finished it. And I could have finished it in like 3 days, but he's like, it took me 5 years. But when I finally did that at the end and eliminated all these distractions, that's when he was able to get it out to the world, you know? So, yeah, awesome.
So, I mean, I didn't invent this. This isn't my thing. Right. It's just that someone said the right sentence to me that you need to, like, know the recipe before you, like, turn on the oven. Like, you got to get ready to do it. And that, to me, was the game changer. And I've been trying to do this for years, since I was in college and struggled with procrastination. On my sales job, when I hated cold calls, it was like a phobia of calling strangers on the phone. If I'd done all this, I feel like it would have had really, you know, lasting impact there. But it's working now the way that I want it to, and I'm controlling the way that it works with it. And then there's another part of this that I should mention, is that when you're done, I try to reward myself for having done a good deep focus session. So I worked for 90 minutes, and the way that I do that is with that first gear recharge. And what I do for that is I go to the climbing gym. The climbing gym that I go to is about 5 minutes from the office. So as soon as I wrap up that 90-minute thing, put my bag on, go to the gym, get in some exercise, some physical movement there for, you know, about an hour, and then come back, and I can do another fifth gear session if I want. I'm already in the mood for that. Or I can switch to like fourth gear to just bust out tasks. I have an ongoing list of things I have to do all the time. And what really happens though is you at the beginning of the morning, I've said before, like, swallow the frog, like, do the thing that you don't want to do the most. I'm kind of having a rethink on that lately, which is do the thing that you feel like most accomplished for. Like, I moved the needle on all these important things by having that flow state in the morning. And so now the rest of it is just like icing on the cake. Like, I did the really important stuff in the morning. Yeah. Now I can go back and do paperwork or emails or whatever I need to do. But what I know at the end of that day, I definitely felt really accomplished.
Yeah, man, that's huge. And I think what I hear you saying too is like, what is it that people could change in their environment? Like, what are like, you just changed this scenario in your environment where normally there was distractions, people coming up to the office, talking to you, all these emails, social media. Maybe that is what it is for people. Turn off social media, turn off your phone, whatever, turn off the person or the thing that's dragging you down in your life, so you can just focus for an hour to get something really important done. That's really a lot of what we're talking about here, is just change your environment and creating a structure, which to me sometimes sounds a little scary, because I'm like, I want to break all the rules and you know, not have a structure around me, and like, but, and Brandon's taught me a lot of this too, but structure actually creates freedom and creativity. It allows you to be more creative when you have that structure to work around. It doesn't stifle creativity, and it actually gives you more freedom and creativity to move around. One of the examples I learned from Brandon early on was he's really good at meal prep, and that's just like an example of like creating a structure around your week, where instead of, you know, finagling and trying to figure out what you're going to do for dinner last minute and being all stressed out, and like, you know, to just create that structure, prep your meals. Now you've got this easy solution that now you can flow through your week. You don't have to be wasting time worrying about your food, or in Brandon's case, in this, you know, in the office, like people constantly interrupting you or whatever. Like, create some type of system, some environment, or even if you have to like give your office staff all your social media logins, whatever it takes to cut off the distractions, so the things that rob you of your focus, and all you can do is go into that flow state and just focus in and be hyper productive. So
for you guys, like, I gave you what worked for me. You need to try and do it for your end. So you got to come up with a list of the things that you need to eliminate. So I eliminated certain websites and certain apps. That's what was really bothering me down. Maybe it is that maybe you respond to email all the time. Maybe you're just that person that is always responding in 5 seconds to email. Okay, well, if that's the case, then get that app, get Freedom, block block Gmail. Don't look at it while you're doing this. Maybe it's people. Maybe you need to remove yourself physically from the place that you're at. So like if you're in the office, let's say you're brand new, you only have one room and everyone's in there. You can't be like closing your eyes and breathing deep over there. People are going to think something's wrong with you. So go somewhere else. Like tell them you're going to leave the office. I'll be at my house. I'm going to be in the garage. I'm going to be in a different room. There's lots of things that you can eliminate. You can change your location, what's around you, put headphones on. There's so many ways to do it, but you just have to think, what's holding me back from accomplishing these things? Is it this? Is it that? How can I eliminate those things? How can I change those things? So in my case, like I can't eliminate the office staff downstairs, but I can tell them, like I gave them a system. If you come up the stairs and you see that LED thing through the window at the top of the stairs that is on, then you know you got to come in and be a little bit quiet and respect my time where I'm doing this, and then we can talk later.
Yeah, I love that, man. It's kind of like, people that, it's getting to be the new year almost. People are always wanting to lose weight and get in shape and do their fitness goals, but it's like you can't do that if you got a big plate of chocolate chip cookies sitting on the counter and you're like, but I want to get super fit, but you have like your environment doesn't support that, right? Or something that I heard recently that was really cool is like beer drinkers, which Brandon and I love IPAs, and we got a lot of great craft brews and stuff here in Albuquerque. But if you're trying to cut down on drinking so much beer, if you actually they found some study showed that if they just moved the beer from the top shelf to like the lower shelf, it was like some dramatic difference. I don't know what the percentage was, but it was like 60% lower chance that you're going to drink like 6 beers that night because you're just not. It's not as easily accessible, right? It's like the environment changed, and now you're not going to go just grab the thing on the top shelf anymore. It's harder to reach down there, and so it's just simple stuff, guys. Just eliminating something, or for me, sometimes eliminating alcohol so I can focus more for a week or two or whatever it is, longer, or social media just don't even turn it on because it's easy to get sucked into that sometimes. Just create that environment, right?
So the point is just find out what's going to work for you. If dietary changes work for you, do it. I mean, something will work for you. You just need to take a little bit of, intention here to think about, what do I need to get rid of to actually make this happen, where I can get down and repeatedly do this. And so now I've got my calendar set up where every weekday I'm going to do a 90-minute session in the morning before I do anything else, so that I know if I got bogged down in meetings, if my kid got sick and I had to go pick him up, I at least got that stuff done in the morning. I got that stuff done. So that part was off the list. I can check that one done. Yep. So just work with it. There's always a way. You were talking about the dietary stuff. I can't remember what book I read it in, but it was something to the effect of, you're warring against your future self. So do your future self a favor and don't buy the junk food at the grocery store in the first place. And then when you actually go to crave it, you'll open the cabinet and it's not there. You'll find beef jerky or seaweed or something that you bought that was a little more healthy. So if it's not there for you to get right away, kind of like you moving the beer to the bottom shelf, you're not going to get in the car and go get it unless you have a serious problem. But that's what you're trying to do. So try and set yourself up for success. And so part of this success is, in my case, calendaring this out and doing this little prep routine, which takes about 20 minutes. You take a couple minutes, knock down some stuff on my digital devices, queue up what I'm trying to get done today, and then just do it.
And and I think that's huge, man. Just a lot of times, and I'm getting better at this. You've taught me this a lot. I'm trying to get my calendars a lot more organized. Brandon, you should see Brandon's calendars, man. He's got them dialed into, and that's something that I've noticed a lot of really successful people do, is they have their calendars just like outlined, like every single day from the time they get up in the morning. They have it on, even on their calendars. Meditation, do this. Yep. They have a morning routine. A lot of times that is what gets you going right for the day. Like get your mind right, take care of yourself, invest in yourself, take care of your body, and then you can pour out into your business, into your teams, into your relationships. But a lot of times, it is taking that time for yourself and making sure you're intentional about it, so that you can put that structure around yourself so that you can operate at the speed of excellence.
Yep. So nice. So take that, guys, run with it. There's some cool stuff in the show notes. You'll find some links to that book that Brandon talked about and the apps that I mentioned.
Yep.
Work it out, man. See if you can use it. Freedom is inexpensive. Just give it a shot. I think there's a 14-day free trial. So I'm not sponsored by Freedom. It's just the one app that I found that actually did all the things that I wanted it to do, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, that is cool, man. So we'll keep you guys updated on how that goes, because I know you've gone through quite a few journals, and so have I, in different systems over the years. But it's awesome to hear it's working. And I think just in general, man, like if everybody could just pick and choose one or two or three things, whatever it is, to change in their environment, to remove something, a thing, a person, what is that for you, so that you can create that structure, so you can have more freedom, more creativity, and you can be taking 10 times more action and getting way more accomplished, which is especially important coming up. The new year, everyone wants to be accomplishing goals and stuff. Well, this is how you do it, guys. You put that structure in place so you can get in that flow, so you can get into that fifth gear and take it to the next level. So,
yeah. All right, guys, that's it. So keep it clean.
Yeah, keep it clean, guys.
Thanks for joining us today. To get more info, including show notes, updates, trainings, and super cool free stuff, head over to ProfitCleaners.com. And remember, keep it clean.